Hello and welcome back to the All Golden Fruits speedrun tutorial. We're on part 3, which means we're going to the snow levels. We're going to start with Ice River Run. There's going to be a cutscene immediately at the start that we're going to skip, so we're just going to do that. Whoa, look how fast they're going. Alright, so immediately at the start, those rev rams right over there are really annoying. All of the rev rams are pretty annoying. The best way to avoid them, either move around them in a way to where they're stuck rotating through most of their charge and just fly off in a different direction, or if they do end up charging towards you, try to make like a sharp turn away from them, and then you should be able to avoid them. If you get hit, it's whatever. Yes, it's time loss, but just something you gotta learn and figure out. So, I'm gonna start off, we're just gonna go. So yeah, sometimes another good way of avoiding the rams is if you get into their range, you just wait for them to roll towards you and then you just roll off in a separate direction. So yeah, once we get past those guys, we're gonna be rev rolling across these little rock platforms on the river. Sometimes you can get ramps off of the rocks. It's not consistent at all. If you get a ramp, cool. If you don't, then whatever, you just rev roll along. Jump across. Sometimes if you land early enough, you can get away with doing an extra kick on these platforms. Just keep that in mind. So then we get here, we're going to jump and super butt bounce up to here to rev roll across instead of taking all of the platforms over. So then you just continue as normal. I had the opportunity to do an extra kick there, so I went ahead and did it. So here we're going to super butt bounce up here. You're not going to make it to this very top one here, but you're going to make it here so you can just short hop up and rev across. Then super butt bounce, and keep going. So far so easy. There's going to be some snowballs that fall from above. They're not going to hit you. So we're going to rev across this ice. Careful of this ramp here. If you're going too fast, you're going to fling off into the water over here. So yeah, just be careful. Let's try that again. Also, these fish are very annoying. What I recommend, here, let me wait for these guys to come back out, is to just kick into them. Don't try and dodge them, just kick them. Sometimes you get hit anyways, but again, it's just something you have to feel for. And then here you can get a pretty consistent ramp off of this rock here. Now, there's two separate paths you could kind of go. You could either go up there towards the balloon and then hop up the platforms to where that cherry chest is. Or you could go over here on the right and follow along the snow, because rev rolling on the ice is a bit slower than if you were rev rolling on actual, well, solid ground. Well, not solid ground, but you know what I mean. So I don't know which way is faster. I've never timed it. If you want to time it, feel free. So I'm going to rev roll over here. I missed the ramp, but whatever. So these three rams are the most annoying. So here I'm going to... Okay, so that didn't work because I avoided the ram and then immediately ran back into it. So these snowballs can get in the way pretty easily. There's actually one right at the start, like near these pack dots, that doesn't fall as soon as all the others. So you can kind of get away with being a little slow up to here, especially if you like take damage from the rams. So try and use that to your advantage. And then we're going to rev roll across this ice instead of doing the platforming. Jump up here, rev again. Jump super butt bounce, we're going to grab the ledge and keep going. This ram is not as big of a problem, especially because I kind of just ran into it. Usually you won't. Over across the ice again. And anytime you're running on the ice like that, you kind of just want to kick to any available rock platform that you have. So here there's a very tiny gap, so you can just rev roll onto the platform. We're going to do that, jump and kick. And then, since these platforms kind of bob up and down when you land on them, we're going to use that opportunity to ramp off of this one onto these next rock platforms. I'm going to do something similar to kind of ramp up to this ice platform. We're just going to jump and kick over here. Continue rev rolling. Dodge the big bear. Make sure you stop on the snow to make sure you can do another rev. See there, I revved too far. You kind of want to time your revs to make sure you land on any kind of regular terrain and not ice. So if you find yourself going too far or too short, then change your rev times accordingly. Right, time for Avalanche Alley. Avalanche Alley is a long level, and it's kind of tough. The main thing you want to avoid here is dying. Checkpoints are a bit few and far between, so make sure that you learn the level, learn the layout, find where all the pits are so you can try to avoid them. Even if it means going a bit slow in some sections, just avoid dying. So starting off, this is a rev roll simulator. We're gonna rev roll down here. And I like to do 2 short revs here to not get hit by the rams. Sometimes you still do, depending on how long you do it. And then there's going to be a lot of trees here that we can ramp off of. You can either ramp off of the trunk or off of the top of the tree. So the main thing is to avoid all of these pits. Usually getting these ramps is optimal. I almost died because I was not paying attention to where I was going. Yeah, the big thing is, depending on which ramps you get, you might end up either running into another one of the trees or, you know, you're gonna have to change your rev pattern accordingly. Also, that second to last tree, you can't ramp off of the trunk. Just jump over that one. Okay, so now we're back. If you took some damage, there's a piece of health here that you can easily get when falling back down. You can just keep going. So yeah, being in the air closer to the end of your rev is the best thing that you can do, because anytime you would normally stop from your rev, if you're in the air, your rev will not stop unless you like immediately try and go the complete opposite direction, like you saw in Bedouin Woods. So now that we're here, we have a good chunk that is not Avalanche. So this is where we're just going to do some regular platforming. Some of these jumps are going to be a bit tighter. Just make sure you're timing your jumps right. You can get across some of these platforms pretty easily with revs. Typically you want to time your last rev so you're not flying off this platform yet, but you're somewhere here so you can get some time rolling on the ice. The fastest way to move across the ice is to kick. There are some gaps you can make by just kicking, so try and do that. And for these Bedouins, we're going to use this first one, but we're going to tap Flutter near our peak so we land somewhere here. A kick, jump, and kick, because it's just slower using that Bedouin to go all the way up and then all the way back down. Because here we're just going to keep kicking on the ice. If you don't feel comfortable that you're going to make the gap by just kicking, then by all means jump. Okay, then we're just going to take these Bedouins and keep rev rolling as usual. You're going to have a couple of rams that you're going to have to avoid. That's okay. Hey, look at that. I avoided them nice and clean, just like we learned in Ice River Run. So yeah, just keep rev rolling along. There's a cool ramp you can get off that button. It's not consistent at all. There's a lot of ramps you can get, but again, they're just not consistent. So if you get them, cool. If you don't, whatever. There was a checkpoint back there. You could absolutely grab that for safety, just in case something goes wrong. Now, there's 2 different things you can do here. You could either take a bit of a risky play and rev roll off here to land on the ice, or you could just take the ice normally. So that's completely your choice, whichever you feel safest with, or if you're looking to get a faster time, take that rev roll ramp onto that second patch of ice. So now that we're here, please get this checkpoint, because if you die, you're going way back. It loses you like a minute or 2. It's terrible. So yeah, just make sure you get this checkpoint for safety. And continue on. We're going to have another avalanche section. So if you end up on ice, make sure you try not to rev roll, because you're going to slip, and there's a good chance you will die, so if you end up on ice, just start kicking. There's a gap you can cross right here, and then there's going to be something fun coming up just a sec. I believe it's right here. Yes, this gust of air. You can rev roll through it and you get lower gravity. There's another 2 here, and it'll take you directly to the dot chain. Also, someone told me to make a Crash Bandicoot reference here, and no. So anyways, you just keep going. Like here, I accidentally revved on the ice because I thought I was going to stop my rev here. So yeah, make sure you don't rev on the ice. And like there, maybe I should have timed my rev a little longer, so then I would have completely cleared the ice. So yeah, this is all this level is a rev rolling simulator. So once again, anytime you're on ice, you want to kick. You can sometimes get ramps off those little rocks sticking out in the middle of the ice. Now they come up onto the end of the level. There's just going to be some more revs to reach the end. So yeah, it's just a big level to practice how long you should time your revs, because I have no exact way on how you should rev. If you want to copy exactly what I did, feel free, that's up to you, but I would recommend learning your own way to get through. Yeah, now that we did that, we're actually on to a very, very easy level, because Blade Mountain is pretty free. This, instead of a rev rolling simulator, is a jumping simulator. So we're gonna have another cutscene. Whoa, look at them go so fast. Okay, so jumping actually makes you go faster on this level. So more or less, it's just learn the layout, even though it's a simple level. So here, the way I start off is to do 2 skates and then start doing big jumps. More airtime means more speed. Then here I do about 4 or 5 skates with the sound effects and just start jumping along. More or less, just learn the layout of the level, learn where the icicles are so you can avoid them, and jump. It's super, super easy. Just make sure not to mistime your jumps. Sometimes you can do cool little cuts through the trees like that. So now here I'm going to do a cut right here. If you don't feel safe doing that, because it's a little bit of a tight jump, but it's not, just take the ramps. There's another one right here, like that. It's more or less just to make a tighter line. Also, that ghost that throws the snowballs at you, annoying. So if you want speed, take tight lines. If you just want to play the level safe, then like, it's free. So yeah, just keep jumping along. Also, be sure to avoid the dynamite, because it can damage you, and that's not great. If you get damaged too close to one of these ramps, there's a chance you're just not going to have enough speed to make it over the gap. So once you're approaching ramps, try to make sure you are avoiding damage. And also, if those fish get in your way, just kick them. Yeah, any of these lines I'm doing, if you don't feel safe doing them, then by all means, take a slower line. Don't jump as many times. And only do something you're comfortable with. But then again, sometimes playing risky is fun. So, hey, by all means, do what you want. This is your speedrun. This is my tutorial, so I'm taking all the lines that I can. Like this one. Whoa. It wasn't anything flashy, but so as we approach the end, there's gonna be like this force field, not a force field, there's this like barrier that tries to slow you down. But if you jump at the right time, you won't get slowed down. So we're going to jump at the end of the ramp, and as soon as we land on the ground, we're going to jump and kick. Then we skate a little bit, do 2 short hops into the goal. Now something that I missed because I was talking was if you kick, your hitbox will be slightly bigger and you'll hit the goal just like a little bit sooner. So like at most it'll save you a frame. Alright, now Pinky. Pinky I have to explain because Pinky is a bit more of a complex boss. The very start is the easiest thing in the world because it's an ice skating section. So you just do what you did last time. You skate, you do a couple jumps, you skip the cutscene. Okay, anyways. And you just jump along. And avoid the bombs. Just learn the bomb pattern, and you should be golden. More or less, you just follow along where the Pac dots are, and that's how you're safe. Like here can be done faster with tighter lines, but oftentimes with all the bombs, it's hard to actually do the tighter lines. I have a theory to like actually take the sharpest lines because of how the bombs are, but I have not tested that. Oops. I went a bit too soon there. Anyways, that's fine. So the thing is, I'm going to pause. So for that ramp, you usually want to jump like closer to the top of the ramp, but that's fine. I nearly died, but you can just hit flutter to kind of save yourself. But actually what you want to do is when you do jump closer to just after the peak of your jump, you want to tap flutter anyways. And the reason for that is there is a invisible wall that you will hit to kind of enter the Pinky cutscene, and then when you do, if you don't hit flutter, your downwards velocity will just reset to 0 once you hit that wall. To make that not happen, you tap flutter just after the peak of your jump. So yeah, it's a little bit of, it's a free time save, more or less, just by hitting a button. So Pinky is kinda tough a little bit to learn. So she spawns bears right at the start. You kind of want to keep these bears alive, otherwise she's going to spawn more. So she's going to shoot bombs at you, she's going to do that ground pound kind of thing. And here's where things get interesting. She's going to shoot a couple extra bombs in this attack that we can kick back to hit her with. But what we can do is time the kick to where the bomb will interrupt her next attack, skipping it. So what we want to do for this first set is wait for this bomb on the left that's going to get shot out to do its second bounce, and then near the peak of its bounce, we want to kick it back, and then go back to kick the other one as well. So we're going to 1, 2, kick it back, and kick the next one as well. Perfect. So that skipped one of her attacks. Typically, because I didn't do it perfectly, you can time it a little sooner than I did to hit her when she's trying to jump, not when she actually jumped. So that'll be a bit of a faster way to do that. And then for this next one, because after the slam she jumps back to do another bomb, you want to hit this next one as soon as you can. So we're going to essentially try and super butt bounce up to this next one and kick it back. Then Revel climb onto Pinky, slam on her chest. Wahoo! That's phase 1. Okay, phase 2 is a little more interesting because the bears are going to be harder to keep alive because of the way she does her attacks. So she's going to do this ice laser. We want to jump over that. You can just make it over with a regular butt bounce, but here we're going to try to revel to the side to keep the bears alive so she doesn't hit them. There, just like that. We have one alive, and that's perfect. So this next set, she's going to shoot the bombs we can hit. For this one, we are going to kick the bomb on the left back. We're not going to do the right one, just the left one. We're going to kick it back once it hits the ground for the 3rd time. So watch carefully. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. then just wait back here, kick it again. Just like that, you skipped 2 attacks, and she's going to go back to do another set of bombs. So for this next one, this is the hardest part, because in this phase, Pinky deflects the bombs 1 time. You can hit them back in a way she deflects one of the bombs, but then gets hit by the next one anyways. It's all a timing thing. Essentially, you just have to kick one and then try and kick the next one back at her. More or less, you want to try and do it as fast as you can, but I think there are times where if you do it too fast, Pinky's deflect will hit both bombs. So what I like to do is stand a little back, like right here. Like, yeah, just behind this crosshair here, the one I'm standing in front of. Just wait for the bombs to get me. Kick, kick. And there I did it too soon. But you can still time a kick to get the bombs to hit Pinky anyways. So I did it a little too fast there. So you want to wait a little bit to do your second kick. I'll give an example of what that looks like, how to do that properly. But yeah, once you do the final hit, you will rev roll to the golden apple, and that will be the end of World 3. So once you go back, do your usual, skip your cutscene as fast as you can. I didn't get the cutscene glitch there, so pause, leave Pac Village, and then that will take us to probably the hardest part of all Golden Fruits, which is the volcano section. And I will leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, leave them down in the comments or join the Pac-Man speedrunning Discord.